Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. And on today's episode, we have San Jose Barracuda defenseman Nick Cicek joins the show. We're going to talk about kind of his path to San Jose, talk about his first year playing pro hockey, talk about the development camp, the upcoming season, and more. So all that and more on today's episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin at San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you, of course, for making us your first listen. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. And, of course, you can find us on YouTube. So, again, on today's episode, we have Nick Cicek. I talked to him for a good 20, 25 minutes about just kind of, his path to San Jose, why he chose San Jose. We talk about development camp. He's really, really high on Matisse Havled. Then I bring up the Mario Ferraro Making the Leap Award, which is, he is the prime candidate for that. So really good conversation with him, really good dude. So before we get into it, just want to remind you guys that today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. And now, without further ado, enjoy my conversation with one Nick Cicek. All right, we bring in San Jose Barracuda defenseman Nick Cicek. Nick, how are you doing today, buddy?
Doing great, man. It's great to see you. How you been?
I'm doing well. We are in the full-on dead mode of the offseason now with free agency basically finishing up, and you guys just had development camp, and now we're basically just waiting for training camp. So I wanted to bring you on, of course, to kind of talk to you. You've kind of become a cult hero for a lot of Barracuda fans, and definitely a fan favorite. So I wanted to first ask you with how did it feel when you actually signed an actual NHL contract this spring with the Sharks? So, you're not just Barracuda guy, you could potentially be playing with the Sharks this upcoming year.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty life-changing. Obviously a goal of mine since as long as I can remember. So for me, me and my family, it was extremely cool. And I feel honored to be with such a great organization and them giving me this opportunity. And yeah, it's just next foot forward and keep going kind of thing. And yeah, but I'm super excited. And like I said, it was a dream come true.
What was the celebration? I'm sure there was a little celebration. I know it was right after the season and stuff. So a little bit of a celebration, right? What was that like?
Yeah, well, I was living with Merkley and Gallant last year and Reedy. So we sort of all went out for dinner, which was nice. And then
they make you foot the bill?
Yes, of course. And then the boys went on a bit of a trip to Mexico at the end of the year. So that was a little bit of a celebration. And then when I came home, I had a nice family dinner and we got to chatting and all that kind of stuff and just a lot of congratulatory things. And it was great. I mean, it's nice to have all that love and support around you and have those people that are always pushing for you to get to the next level.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely deserved it. So let's kind of take a step back and go back to your junior days. Of course, you were with the Portland Winterhawks. What was it like, especially because your timeline with the Winterhawks is right when kind of COVID shut down? Unfortunately, you weren't drafted. Like, what did you think, going through that time of there's no hockey right now and, kind of your hockey future during that time?
Yeah, honestly, that was a pretty stressful time for me. It was the COVID year was in my 19-year-old year. So we didn't really know if we were going to play the next season. Like the O, for example, didn't even play. So luckily I got some games in as a 20-year-old, which was my first thing I was stressing about. Like, hopefully I can play some games. And then from that point on, I was just sort of like, this is your last opportunity to show what you can do. And you got 24 games to show exactly what kind of player you are and what kind of person you are. And pretty much my mentality was just leave it all out there. There's really nothing to save it for. And it's a pretty short runway with only 24 games. So just sort of pedal to the metal and see what happens kind of thing.
So during those 24 games, of course, you know, in the bubble seasons, and I know they kind of like had you guys all enclosed and stuff like that. What do you do when you're not playing hockey during that time? Because I mean, it's not like you can just kind of go out and wander the world at that time. Like, what were you trying to do? Especially as you were the captain, right? You were trying to keep all the boys entertained and kind of keep everybody together.
Yeah, it was definitely difficult. Like you said, everything was shut down. You couldn't go out for food, couldn't really hang out with the guys at billet houses. So if I'm being honest, there's a lot of video games being played. The boys were hopping online together. I mean, we try to do stuff here and there that was allowed with the restrictions, but
Mm.
it was definitely a interesting year and a different year. And I mean, it was difficult for me and a lot of people. And I would say I came out of it in a good place when a lot of people might not have had the same opportunities as me. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, it was difficult. But I think as a team, we did really well through the whole thing and we pushed through. We were playing pretty good hockey. And then for me personally, it was just that motivating goal of we need to get a pro contract if we want to keep playing at that high level.
What were the video games being played?
We play a lot of video games. I mean, we
Yeah.
play NHL, Call of Duty, Fortnite. I mean,
Mhm.
there's all over the map.
Oh, good. Um, so then, of course, you know, you sign with the Sharks. Why the Sharks? Did you have a lot of different offers kind of out there, or why was San Jose your pick?
So are you talking about after my junior year?
Yeah,
Like when I
after your
signed
junior
with
year. Yep.
Barracuda? Yeah. So I had some interest from other teams. The biggest thing for me was when I was talking to San Jose and talking to the Barracuda staff and some of the management for the Sharks was that they're known for developing their players and turning these guys that are on A contracts and flipping them to NHL contracts and really pushing that development. And for me,
Mhm.
that was the biggest thing because I knew I wasn't good enough to be at the NHL level yet, but my goal was obviously to get there. And I thought for developmental purposes, San Jose was the best spot for me. And I felt like I could have an impact there and jump in and hopefully like play a good game and play some minutes. And luckily the coaches gave me that opportunity and then it just all went from there.
All right, and before we continue with Cicek, we kind of talk about development camp and what's kind of on the horizon with the 2023 Barracuda. We've got to take a quick break, talk to you guys about our friends over at Bet Online. You guys know Bet Online, the fastest and easiest way to check in all your betting needs. They have all your favorite sports, events, and the number one online source for odds, lines, and games. You can find reviews and news on every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports wagering information, from live in-game betting, sports, and podcasts. They have you covered. So head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts. Awesome. So your first season in AHL, how would you kind of describe it?
It was interesting, I would say. There's a lot of stuff going on with the Barracuda, as you know. I
Yep.
mean, guys going up and down with COVID, injuries. I mean, we had a lot of new and different faces come into our locker room throughout the year. So it was definitely interesting. I would say from the beginning, like that next step, like everyone says, it was faster for sure. But I felt like I got pretty used to it quickly. And then with everyone with the Sharks getting COVID at the beginning of the year, forced a lot of the D-man on the CUDA to get called up, which gave
Hmm.
me a lot of opportunity. And then I got really comfortable with my game playing at that level. I felt confident on the ice and off the ice. I felt like I knew what I had to do to make an impact on the game. And after that, it just kept going. And I pretty much the biggest thing for me was just to try to keep that confidence and play like that throughout the whole season.
And then, of course, the end of the season, it was like 15 games, I think, lost in a row. How is that like coming to the rink every day? Which is like, guys, we have to try to break this, right? At some point, you can't just keep losing every game, right?
No, for sure. I mean, it was pretty devastating after a while. Like I won't lie, I won't sugarcoat it. Like the dressing room, it was hard after those games. And I mean, we came to the rink the next day and yeah, guys were talking about it like we need to win, we need to win, but it was more just like we got to follow the right path kind of thing. We can't just say we need to win. Like let's focus on what we need to do better, what we can improve on, what we shouldn't be doing anymore. And I think we were slowly getting there. And like you said, it was the end of the year. It was a tough time of the year, a lot of travel. So yeah, the 15 game losing streak definitely didn't feel well. But there was definitely some games in there where I thought we played well and we deserved to win the game. And that's just how hockey goes sometimes. But yeah, it was tough. It was
You're just saving the wins for next year. That's all. Just saving them for next year.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask, Gannon Laraku, the Sharks are, a lot of Sharks fans are really excited. He got a couple games with you guys done. What were your thoughts of him, especially being an 18-year-old kid playing against grown men, for a couple games there?
Yeah, so we were actually partners for a couple games in Henderson, I want to say it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very pleased with how mature he was as a player on and off the ice. His routines before the ice, getting ready, he was very focused. And then on the ice, we had a great communication between each other. You could tell he was ready to learn, which was helpful because I could talk to him and let him know what I'm seeing, like, oh, you can make this instead of doing that. And we had a pretty good open communication on the bench and in the dressing room off the ice. And then away from the rink, he's a great guy. We loved hanging out with him. And like you said, he's only 18 years old and he's playing great hockey in the AHL, which I think is very impressive for someone at that age. And yeah, I'm excited to see him back. I can't say enough good things about him. He's a great hockey player, and I'm excited to see where his career takes off.
It's just because he's a WHL guy, right? That's
always gotta root for those dub guys.
So, of course, you kind of mentioned it with how crazy the Barracuda season is, and Roy Sommers, he left. He's now coaching in San Diego. Whole new front office. We've got David Quinn, which is the Sharks just announced as the Sharks head coach. Coach McCarthy now is going to be the Barracuda coach. Like, are you just kind of sitting back and just kind of taking all this all in, getting ready to, come into training camp with a bunch of new faces around?
Yeah, I mean, it puts a little more stress on the players, I would say. Obviously, new eyes are always looking at you, like roles need to be filled kind of thing. But I'm excited to have that new page flipped, hopefully get some more wins in the Barracuda column and just build off it. I mean, we have a lot of new guys coming in, younger guys coming in, and then obviously, like you're saying, with the free agency and stuff, there's a bunch of players coming in with new management, new coaching. So I think everyone's pretty excited. You could feel it at development camp. Everyone's ready to go. They're excited to get the season going and see where it takes us. And I'm the same way. I'm itching to see what the team's going to look like and what's going to be the same, what's going to be different. But mainly, I just want to play games again. It's been a while.
And then, of course, the Barracuda, they just announced a couple weeks ago, Lewis Mass and Kyle Hagel both being out of the WHL to be kind of the assistant coaches. Again, another win for the WHL for the Sharks. What have you had much experience with those guys? Like anything you can kind of talk about those guys?
Yeah, so Kyle coached against me. He was in Seattle and I was in Portland, so I saw him lots. I didn't really get to talk to him much, but at development camp, that was the first time meeting both of them, and it was great. I mean, I had conversations with both of them with Kyle about him coaching against me and what he liked about my game, and he's excited to work with me, and I said the exact same with him. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. And then obviously with Louis he was teaching me lots of stuff at development camp. I had a lot of great one-on-one conversations with him that I felt I got a lot out of, and I'm excited to work with him, and hopefully we can get a groove going and have a great start to the season.
So, you keep bringing in development camp. What was it like? What was, you get a lot of talent coming in, you have some guys who played NHL games with Merkley and Weatherby and Reedy. And then you have a bunch of, the guys who just got drafted and kind of all together. Kind of what was the week like for you?
Yeah, for me personally, I felt like, so for last year, let's say, development camp was very stressful for me because that was my first NHL camp ever. So I was on edge at all times. So this year, I knew exactly what I was walking into. I felt way more confident. I knew almost all the faces, and I got to meet all the young draft picks. And I mean, the skill coming out of the draft and those young guys it's really impressive, and it's really cool to see and skate with these guys. I mean, you learn a lot off these young players, and I'm hoping they're learning stuff off me too. But yeah, like I felt more that having that year of pro hockey under my belt and going through all these camps and playing games, I felt a little more of a leadership role at that camp, considering I was one of the older guys.
Mhm.
So it was nice to have people look up to you and see what you're doing and them follow your footsteps. And then, yeah, like I said, it just felt a lot more comfortable knowing that I've been here before and I know what's going on. And yeah, it felt good this year for sure.
Any one guy kind of stand out to you, or any guys you were kind of like, oh wow, this guy?
Yeah, well, so when I got to camp, they show us our team rosters for camp, and I
Mm.
was paired up with Havlid Matthias, the new defenseman, obviously.
Yep.
And like he's an early round, early pick kind of guy. So I was excited to see like the skill level he has, what kind of player he is, and I was completely blown away. He's very smooth, great shot, great skill making, and I was excited that I could play with him all camp. And
Mhm.
I was learning lots of stuff off him, and we were talking, chatting, and I like building those bonds. And obviously, I'm a defenseman, so I spend a lot more time with those guys. But a lot of skilled forwards coming down on me out of that draft class. It's sort of crazy to think about how much younger they are than me, and like they're like my brother's age. So I'm like, wow, these
Yeah.
are some talented kids. But no, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, Matthias Havlid, that's a good defenseman. Look out for him for sure.
Yes, I know a lot of Sharks fans. A lot of Sharks fans excited about him. A lot of the Twitter draft scouts were like, "Yeah, that's a good pick. He's gonna be a solid player when he gets to the NHL."
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
all right, guys. Before we continue our conversation with Cicek and we talk about kind of the upcoming season, and we're going to talk about some of his off ice habits and all that fun stuff. I just want to take a quick break, let you guys know, of course, about Locked On NHL. Although we have been going down to 3 episodes a week, Locked On NHL show is still pumping out content 5 days a week. I think they're going to be starting power rankings of all the divisions here soon. So they have you covered Monday through Friday, 5 days a week with all the news. Get you guys ready for the upcoming season. So make sure when you're done listening to this podcast, go check out Locked On NHL. So you kind of, the 2023 Barracuda, you kind of mentioned there's a ton of new talent coming in. Your Ozzy Weisblatt and Brandon Coe and Tristan Robbins, and, et cetera, et cetera. How excited are you to kind of get this thing going? Especially you got a new barn opening up. It's a lot. They got the new black jerseys. There's kind of a lot of stuff happening with the Barracuda right now, right?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, that new arena is going to be crazy. I can't wait to finally get in there and check out the dressing room and get on the ice out there. And like you said, like we got a lot of skill coming up, a lot of young skill coming out of junior that they've proven in junior that they're better than that league, and they've done their time there. And I'm excited to see them come up to the pro level, and hopefully they can help us win some games. And yeah, I mean, like I said before, I just want to get back on the ice and playing games. It's my favorite part about hockey, and it's about time, I think.
It's about time. Yes, it's still middle of summer, but it's about time.
Yeah.
The WHL guys, is there a little bit of a, I don't want to say like a fraternity, so like in the locker room, like, oh yeah, the WHL guy, these guys are good, and like, oh, the maybe those O guys, those Q guys, whatever about them, but the W guys, these are the guys right here.
I would say there's a lot of conversations on which league is the best league in the CHL. You get that a lot in the dressing room, and obviously the W guys are all teaming up against the O guys, and the Q guys are all together. But I would definitely say it's not like super cliquey, like
Yeah.
But there's definitely some beef here and there trying to decide who came out of the best league.
It's kind of like the college almanac, or like your almanac, like your college that you went to, where you're just like, oh yeah, I'm easily the best college, et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of the same type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, there's also the whole scene of the junior guys against the college guys. So that's a whole other battle. But I mean, it's all friendly. It's all fun.
Oh yeah, the college guys. Well, I mean, now because with Mike Greer, being a college guy. So, in the Sharks draft class, it was a lot of college guys coming through. So you guys are gonna have to. I think Mason Beaupit and the two Swedes were based the only guys who weren't going to college. So you guys are gonna have to kind of all come together against these college guys here soon.
I know we're gonna have to bring the Euros into the junior side, I guess.
And then kind of one of the last couple more things here. So we have at the Locked On Sharks podcast, my former co-host Kyle and I, we kind of came up with we haven't really come up with a good name with it, but the Mario Ferraro leap guy, where it's the guy who kind of comes out of nowhere to make the team. So, a couple of years ago, Ferraro straight out of college to make the team. Mm-hmm. 2 years ago, it was Knizhov kind of comes out of nowhere to make the team opening roster night. Last year, it was Jake Middleton. Is Nick Cicek going to make it a 4-for-4 this year?
Oh, wow, that's high praise from you guys. I really appreciate that. Yeah. My main goal is to just come to main camp the best player I can be, and then show what I know, how I can play, and then be a good person off the ice, be a leader, be someone that the young guys can look up to, and then just be a sponge for hockey information, learn everything. And if that takes me to the level where I want it to be, where it is making that NHL roster, that'd be fantastic. But I know it's all about just developing. It's all about getting better each year, each time you get on the ice. You just don't want to plateau. So, yes, the goal is to be there. But
be the 4. We got to make it 4-for-4. 4 seasons in a row.
Hopefully.
All right. And then kind of some off ice stuff. So what's your kind of pregame ritual like before the game? Are you a nap guy, not a nap guy, coffee guy? Kind of, yeah.
I'm always a nap guy for sure. And then when I get to the rink, I always have a coffee. I need a coffee before the game. Last year we were making pregame lunch or pregame meal a lot at our house, but we also have a couple spots we like to go to if we're a little lazy to make food. And then I usually get an hour and a half to 2 hour nap. And then when I first get to the rink and get on my dress clothes, I just try to calm down, have a coffee, and just chat with the guys and sort of just let everything go, calm down, and get ready for the game. But just focus on my coffee for a little bit first, and then get to the game part.
Gotcha. And then I assume, like most other hockey players, it's chicken and pasta or some sort of chicken and.
Honestly, I feel like I'm one of the least picky guys with food. Like I'll eat anything kind of thing. Obviously, I try to get a good amount of carbs and protein so I have the energy for the game. But I love chicken and pasta. I love fish. I love rice. I love vegetables. So I change it up a lot. Okay. But yeah, I'll go with any.
And then what about those, because especially with Barracuda games, you get sometimes those weird, especially like on the weekends where you won't have it as much anymore, where like the Sharks and the Barracuda are sharing the ice. You get those weird 1 o'clock games and stuff. Yeah. Like how bad does that mess with your schedule?
Those are tough for sure. You don't have time to nap, so it definitely flips your whole routine upside down. Mm-hmm. But I would say part of being a pro is just being able to react to those situations. So don't get me wrong, there's some 1 p.m. games where I'm like, I'm not feeling the greatest coming in, but I think I slowly started figuring it out, and I was okay by the end of the year.
All right. What was the last show you binge watched?
Oh, good question. I think the last show would probably be the new season of Stranger Things. I hammered that out in a couple days, and then before that, it was the new season of Peaky Blinders.
Gotcha. Those were very popular answers at development camp with Peaky Blinders and Stranger Things. So
yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. Socks and skates.
Always socks and skates. Yeah. I don't know how you don't wear socks and skates. That is
Ryan Merkley, noted monster.
I know. I let him know all the time. Yeah, that's a little greasy. I won't lie.
I don't. By the end of the season, I'm sure it's just absolutely terrible. All right, last question to get you out of here because I've already taken up too much of your time. I know we got a couple weeks until training camp. Any plans for the rest of the summer?
Not much. I'm training, and I live in Winnipeg, so I'm training and hanging out with friends and family, skating, with a bunch of boys, and then I love golfing. I got a good golf group, so I'm out there 3-4 times a week on the course.
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't think I have any trips really planned for the rest of the summer. I might head over to Vancouver. I have some close friends that live there, but other than that, I'll be pretty much a homebody hanging out. And then weekends are made for the cabin, so I'll be on the lake most weekends, and then just getting away from the rink, give myself a little mental break, and get ready for the next week.
Yeah, I got to get that golf game. I know the CUDA guys are pretty competitive with the golf
Oh
game. I've
yeah,
heard.
we're out
So.
there. We're out there a decent amount.
Yeah, well, especially with Magna now up front, who because he I heard was the best of the CUDA guys, but now that he's up on the Mother Club, has
Yeah.
anybody taken that spot of best golfer?
We're gonna have to see. There's gonna have to be some rounds when we get
A
there.
nice belt. You guys need like the belt that you can like kind of pass around or something like
Yeah,
that.
or we should get like instead of a green jacket, like a teal jacket or something. That would be
There
pretty
you
cool.
go. I like where your head's at with that, Nick.
There you go.
Nick, thank you so much. The time is all yours. If you have anything you want to say hi to anybody, say hi to your mom, whatever. You have all the time in the world, buddy.
No, I thank you for having me out. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I don't got much to say. Just I'm excited to get back there. I'm excited to get back on the ice, and I hope the fans are ready. It's gonna be a fun year, and yeah, let's go win some games.
Yep. Very excited. I know the CUDA this year. The CUDA are back and hotter than ever this year, I think.
For
So
sure. I like that attitude.
yes. All right. Thanks, Nick. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Nick Cicek. Seems like an awesome dude. Easy to talk to. Really nice guy. Definitely think he will be playing NHL games at some point this season. Especially now he's on an NHL contract. I think he's gonna be up on the Sharks at some point this season. So seems like a great dude, especially with the young guys, where he's didn't have the easiest path to get to the NHL, but he's willing to help out, learn from younger guys, willing to teach younger guys as well. Just seems like an awesome dude. So I hope you guys enjoyed my conversation with Nick Cicek. Coming up this week, I have Sarah Avampado, who covers the Chicago Wolves. She's going to come on to talk about Ryan Warsofsky and what the Sharks are getting from him as an assistant coach. And then we'll think of something fun for the end of the week as well. So make sure you guys are keeping track on social media at Locked On Sharks, where on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're on all of those. Of course, you can listen to the show wherever you get your podcast: Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, Amazon. They've got all those places. They've got you covered. So, and then of course, YouTube. Make sure you guys are subscribed, like the videos. It helps the show grow. Subscribe, leave little comments. I try to answer most of them if I can. Go ahead and do that as well. So Locked On Sharks, of course, got your team every day. Well, at least 3 times a week this right now until the season starts. But make sure you guys are following along for Locked On Sharks as we start to transition into the new season that's going to be coming. So, of course, you can find me on Twitter at myfryhole, and we'll be back on probably Tuesday night with a conversation with Sarah Avampado about the Sharks' new assistant coach, Ryan Warsofsky. So until then, bye, friends.